I'd like to show you how to save money by planning a funeral ahead of time. And it's not how you may think. Check it out. Hi, I'm Randy Larson. In just moments, I'll show you how to save money while checking off one of the most difficult tasks in a person's life, a funeral plan. I've separated this episode into 3 video segments, so be sure to check out the other 2. Let's get started. There are plenty of good and proper reasons why a person should plan their funeral. However, what I've chosen to highlight in this episode is how you can save money while doing it. Here are 3 simple ways to save money by planning a funeral ahead of time. Number 1, comparison shop. Merchandise is the first thing that comes to mind. Caskets, headstones, urns, vaults, flowers. Do you prefer a stainless steel casket or is a wood casket acceptable? Is velvet interior important or will crepe interior be okay? Make no mistake, you will save money by comparing and contrasting these and other products like them. However, there's something else that can yield over $2,000 in savings with one decision: the selection of a funeral home. To illustrate this, I use a simple example. I took the price of 3 service items from local funeral homes: a graveside service fee, a visitation or viewing fee, and the basic service fee. I loaded these prices into a spreadsheet and summed a total for each funeral home. Then I arranged the prices in ascending order and created a chart to highlight the differences. The results speak pretty clear. You can save money by selecting the right funeral home for your needs. Check out the difference between funeral home A and funeral home K. It's nearly a $2,900 difference, and that's just comparing 3 items. Keep in mind that the larger the city, the more funeral homes there are. The more funeral homes there are, the more options you have, and the better chance you have at saving money by comparing one funeral home to another. Here's a little pointer for those of you who want to compare funeral homes in your own city. Funeral homes are required to present their prices in a standard format. It's called a general price list, and you can ask for it by name. Every funeral home has something called a basic service fee. You'll recall it was one of the items I used in the example. Now, the terminology may differ slightly. For example, one funeral home may call it their professional services fee, where another one calls it their minimum services fee or basic service. I've even heard one call it their minimum basic professional services fee. It's all the same thing. Now, this fee varies from funeral home to funeral home and is commonly thought of as the price for walking in the door. It's an overhead charge and it's non-negotiable. But this fee will give you a good indication of the overall cost of the firm when comparing it to another. Unfortunately, this kind of comparison shopping can really only be done ahead of time. If a person dies unexpectedly or without a funeral plan, there's no longer really any time. I've watched people try and compare funeral homes after a death has occurred, and it's a strain to say the least. On top of that, because there's still the pressure of a time constraint, people always doubt they landed a good deal, even if they did. Now, some of you may be thinking that the selection of a funeral home is effectively already done. Maybe it's the only funeral home in town, or maybe your family has used that funeral home for generations. Maybe it's the funeral home right around the corner. Stop and think differently. Recently, a trusted funeral director and close family friend moved about 100 miles away. I asked him who at his old firm I would contact should the need arise, and he said without hesitation, "Why wouldn't you call me?" And the light bulb came on. Using a funeral home that's miles away when another one is right around the corner is not as unconventional as it sounds, and it's not as uncommon as you might think. Plus, you can save thousands. Be sure to check out the next video in this series entitled Saving Money by Planning a Funeral Ahead of Time, Part 2 of 3. There I'll share with you the second tip on how to save money while checking off a task that's on everyone's list. I'm Randy Larson with Funeral Consulting Services. Have a big, strong day.